Of mine, actually, the student is older than I am, but he was in my theory class at IU. His name is Robert Vincent Smith, and his wife is Liz. But that's not her maiden name.
Liz Reese.
Yes, Liz Reese.
Liz Reese is a very good friend of mine.
Yes.
A colleague. We trained together as an Alexander teacher.
How cool! I figured you might know her.
And Bob.
Bob, yes.
And Zoe.
Zoe, yes.
Right? She takes lessons with you.
Yes,
yes.
They're all. I'm very close to all of them.
Yes.
But I figured you must know each other because your world has to be a little smaller than mine is, which is the whole city of New York.
Well, not only is it small, but we trained the same year.
Isn't that something?
So we did the 3-year Alexander training together.
Mm-hmm.
And
such a small world.
We've stayed friends.
That's great.
For now close to 25 years.
She's so great. Nice, and you are too. Lovely. So I figured y'all would know each other.
Yeah. And Bob's great. Oh gosh, I like Bob a lot.
So I was telling Tom upstairs just as you walked in the door. There's a fellow who finished with me a long time ago. He's a director, a writer, producer.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a quadruple threat. He's like a figure from the 19th century.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and he in fact he and Fegley had adapted this one-man show of Leaves of Grass for an outdoor theater in Bucks County. And they adapted it together, and it was supposedly incredible, and it's going on tour and all this when Michael's free. But anyway, so Michael's connected to this project, actually. I don't know if you would know this guy. Tom knew him. John D'Amato, does it ring a bell?
D'Amato, D''apostrophe A-M-A-T-O? Sounds familiar,
okay.
But...
He used to own and run the Synchronicity Space downtown on Mercer Street, which was a performing arts center.
Mm-hmm.
So he bought the Paramount Theater in Peekskill.
Wow.
You know that old theater up there?
Mm-hmm.
And he turned it into the same thing. Now, he's a very good friend of Bob Dylan. Doesn't hurt anything.
Wow, exactly.
So Dylan, as a favor to him, did his first 2 concerts when he started coming out with the songbook, the American Songbook records up there. And they got raves and he redid the theater. So what he is he's a producer, but he wants to keep presenting musical things, but he also wants to present dance and have a resident professional theater company.
Mm-hmm.
Actually 2. So he approached Dan, because Dan years ago was in Chronicles of Hell by De Gelderode downtown. So it's already happening. So he said, the other thing I want to do is have a conservatory. You all right?
Yeah. No, it's just
more comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay. And a training conservatory up there for people who don't want to go to college but want a more professional, but I want top-flight people. So Dan said, well, I know someone who's actually interested in this, away from his studio. So you'll love this story. So John D'Amato said, who, blah, 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 who is it? And Dan said, it's blankety blank. And he said, come on, he's not available. And he said, no, he is available. He really would like to do this. He's been trying to do something similar. Mm-hmm. And he said, he's available, this guy? And he said, I know him. I used to be around a lot of people that he threw out. And they were awful. I mean, they were like down on the core drunks, So he's a big guy in the recovery community. So his premise is he wants to create a professional theater, not for therapy, but where sort of the basis of the people he works with are people in recovery programs. Mm-hmm. Dan is in a recovery, so he knows he won't have to look too far to find actors in recovery.
Right.
But the other basis from Dan's point of view are people who've been trained here this way because they all act on the same level, and he wants a quality company to create an American vision of. Eventually, it'll be similar, not exactly to Wynn Hanman's theater, which is plays being done not by playwrights but great American writers, or things that weren't originally intended for the stage adapted through the company. So, but he's starting with something just to open up the theater up there. So I have a feeling this person still works with both of you, so please keep your lips shut.
Sure.
But of course, Chris is going to be one of the foundational people.
Uh-huh.
You know, she may know it, she may not, but you know, she'll say something to me. Mm-hmm. And Fagley's involved. Michael Griffiths, do you remember Mike Griffiths? Yeah. He also produced a film, Living in a... So he has good people that he's bringing up there. And I said, Dan, so this has sort of come full circle because, you know, Dawn works for me. She's my assistant. I don't know if you knew that. Remember Dawn, who used to come in with us on the Master's Circle?
Yeah.
Dawn.
What did she... Oh, yes, Dawn.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in a while, but I remember her name.
She still works for me.
Uh-huh.
She's like my assistant. So I said, this has sort of come full circle. So Dan sat down and I said, well, there are two people I definitely would want involved in this. That would be you two. Mm-hmm. It's not that I don't want Katina involved, but I'm going to reserve what my hesitations are about it for myself. You know, mm-hmm. It's not a big hesitation. And have a dance teacher from Graham and a dance teacher from Ailey. And it would be twice a week. I don't know when exactly. Maybe it would be weekends because that's when we're kind of free. It's an hour up on the train.
Yeah, sure.
So this guy wants that conservatory to be inherent to it. So I said, well, and Dan knew all about the Master's Circle and always thought it should have happened, you know. Mm-hmm. But and Dawn, of course, still is interested in it. She now, in fact, is working for Dan part-time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because she's really exceptional. You know? So that's what's going on. So over the summer, I'm doing an 8-week workshop on Saturdays where I come. You asked if I'm busy. Or I'm coming down from Vermont
to do it
on Saturdays, and then going back Sunday morning. So, or coming home to Brooklyn Heights and then going back. Mm-hmm. But so I just want to put that in your ear, play Iago a little bit. I think it's a place where something like that could happen because it's not far from the city. And we all know the whole title of these podcasts. I don't know if you've listened to any of them. Dan is on 2 of them.
Oh, wow.
He's brilliant. He really is a brilliant guy. Is it sustaining the craft? Which there isn't much craft, much of anything anymore, you know. But if it doesn't sustain itself in the theater, the legitimate playwright will be lost, you know. Will be lost. And so I hope to, I just forgot, I'm so busy. I have a new class beginning, so you'll be hearing from them probably in May. Okay, they're on the Monday, Wednesday night.
Cool.
Then there's one other thing. The film, I think I talked to you about it. I don't know if I talked to you about the documentary being done on the studio.
I think you did, but yeah.
You mentioned it.
But that's all I know.
So I was first approached by this woman, Philippines. And what she wanted to do was this whole testimonial with all this formality. And Tom, you've been around me long enough to know that's not the story of this studio. The story of this studio is that it's maintained itself for 45 years without compromising the level of work or the standards of the students, you know. And in this day and age, that's not easy,
right?
As you know. So that's sort of what the film is about. So this guy approached me. He's a documentary filmmaker, writer actually. Mm-hmm. And he's a guy who survived a brain injury accident. He was on a bar in Christopher Street and he was walking in and someone knocked him down on the sidewalk with a big steel door, and He was in a coma for 8 weeks.
Goodness gracious.
And he survived it. He's fine. He's a good friend of mine. Very good friend of mine. But he said, would you do? I said, well, yeah, if I found the right filmmaker. So he introduced me to this guy, Daniel Epstein. Are you around those people much? He's a top flight guy. And I went and saw this film he did on a reporter that was murdered by the dictator in Belarus.
Mm.
It was unbelievably powerful.
Wow.
I don't say those things easy. So, it was just unbelievably powerful. So he has sat and met with me 10 times at his office, and he's really drawing this story out and getting to the core of the story. That's the kind of person I want to do this with. Sure. And Tim is a wonderful writer, so I don't know where, it may just be where they ask, well, about what we're going to talk about here.
Right.
Which is how important the voice and the Alexander technique is to the process of the actor. Especially actors who are trained this way and don't rely on their externals to create an effect. So let's see if this took. Okay. So that's what's going on.
Excellent.
And then I'm doing 2 workshops in Vermont.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You're busy. That really made you shed some of the weight, didn't it?
No, the gym. You want to switch the chair? You want a hardback chair, Tom? Yeah, those are. Is your back bothering you?
Oh no! It's just more. It's
support.
More. It's just.
That's a better chair.
It's a better chair. My back is fine. I'm fine.